Alright, we got another build video for you today. Today is the first Hunter build video, so we're on Nightstalker for this one. And let's start off with Top Tree. Top Tree Nightstalker allows you to go invisible when you dodge, so that's what I'm going to take advantage of. So I'm going to use 6 Coyote with Izanami's Burden and probably a rocket launcher. So that'll allow me to do more boss damage and to evade enemies while I set up for the boss damage. So I can get my Izanami shot ready, take it, enemy see me, I can just dodge. That should reload for me. If it doesn't, well, I'll be invisible anyway, so I can get my honed edge times 4 shot and I'll be ready to take another. It also helps if you have high mobility, that way you get your dodges back faster. And the rockets are also just good right now ever since Season of the Chosen. Pair this build with some Charge with Light mods and you should have a nice little build that'll allow you to do a lot of boss damage safely. And that should be it for my Top Tree build for this week. It's pretty simple. Izanami's Burden, dodge to go invisible, and just do a lot of boss damage. And of course, you also have your tether to further increase your boss damage. So if you have Charge with Light, slap on High Energy Fire, and you should have another bonus to that damage. This next build we have is going to be using a lot of things that are not used together, especially in PvE. None of these things are really used that often, except for Middle Tree Nightstalker, which is commonly used in PvP, but PvE it's not used so much. So I thought about what to pair with it, and I came up with this build that lets you do a lot of damage by yourself. If you don't know, Flawless Execution is something you can do on Middle Tree Nightstalker. Basically, if you're crouched and you get a precision kill, that will make you go invisible, and the next melee you get apply Shattering Strike, which is a 30% debuff to that enemy. This also stacks with Foetracer and Coldheart. Because of the nature of Foetracer and Coldheart, the longer you'll be hitting this enemy, the more damage you will be doing throughout. The Shattering Strike is more of just to get you where you need to go. Foetracer, once you hit like 30% health on your enemy, it'll start doing more damage. And Coldheart, the longer you stay on target, the more damage it does, up to a point, of course. But none of these are global buffs, so you can always use Charge with Light mods, maybe slap on a Charge Harvester, but make sure you have High Energy Fire, because High Energy Fire, I am almost certain will stack with this, because you don't have a global buff on you. So I would definitely try that one out. You're not going to get too much worth out of Warmind Seals because Coldheart in no way can spawn them. And Elemental Wells are much better when your elemental weapon matches your subclass. It's not necessary, but it's better. My main recommendation for this build, even above using High Energy Fire and Charge with Light mods, use your Trace Rifle Scavenger reserves and maybe Finder too. Loader could help you too, but anyways, Trace Rifles are in a weird spot where they are the best primaries in the game, but they take special ammo. And that problem can be alleviated with Trace Rifle mods. If you don't have the mods, it makes Trace Rifles not the most fun thing to use. But if you do have all those mods, you can think about using maybe an ignition code in your kinetic slot and get the utility out of that by blinding enemies. You could use some other legendary kinetic special weapons, maybe a Blasphemer, a Heritage. It really just opens up your options if you have Trace Rifle mods. It lets you use a Trace Rifle as your ad clear, and with this build, some boss damage. So keep that in mind if you do decide to do this build. Those trace rifle mods are extremely important anytime you're using a trace rifle. And with that, we'll be going on to our last build, one for bottom tree Nightstalker. And our last build for today is a super simple support build on bottom tree Nightstalker. I've used Lumina quite a bit in this season. I personally really enjoy Lumina. I know a lot of people don't, but I feel like that's just because it's a normal hand cannon except for the fact that it heals and buffs allies. It really has no perks to make it better, but that's not what it's for. So anyways, with this build I'm going to be using Omnioculus with Lumina. And this will let me basically shield my allies while they're invisible, so if something's about to hit them, I can throw it on them. They'll get resistance, and all the other enemies are going to turn away. And if I have more time, I can fire a noble round into them, just to make sure my team is always full on health, and have resistance to incoming damage, be invisible, and get a damage buff. It may not be as strong of a support as, say, Well of Radiance, but for Grandmaster Nightfalls, Omnioculus is far better in a lot of situations. Just not taking damage is better than healing all your damage a lot of times. So, it can be a really strong build. Lumina is not the end-all be-all, of course. I just think it fits together with Omnioculus really well. And you can use Omnioculus as its own built-in grenade build, honestly. You don't need demo, you don't need anything like that. You can just use Omnioculus and get a bunch of grenades. And your melees basically charge themselves. So yeah, it's really good. You might want to do some charge with light mods just to be able to do more damage than a 140 hand cannon in PvE. But those should be getting buffed soon. Probably won't be as bad. So give this one a try out. Experiment with different weapons. Maybe Monte Carlo to make sure you always have your melees, but it's not really a problem. You could even try this in PvP. Use a fusion rifle or something. Get cover with your invisibility. Find them. Voop them. And you should be good. There's a lot of things you could do with Omnioculus. This is just the first thing I thought of, is to make the hunter go full support. It's not something you see very often. Usually, you know, the meme is the warlock born to Nova Bomb, forced to well. And yeah, this kind of changes that a little bit. This right here is the end of the content and the beginning of the shilling. So if you want to turn away now, go ahead, or just get up, get a drink or something while you keep this running for a bit. So if you're not already subscribed, do that. Maybe hit the notification bell while you're at it. Like the video, comment on it. I also have a Twitch and a Twitter. Those should be in a pinned comment down below. If they're not down there, just tell me I'm slacky and wait a few hours, I guess. Most of my videos have it, so if you're really looking for it, it might be on one of those. So yeah, I should have 2 more builds next week, and then we're gonna go into I think a 3 build week, or 3 build video week rather. That should be 12 whole builds, 1 for each subclass on each class, and then after that week I am hoping to get my new light series out, and there should be a lot more different content going up on this channel after next week, so look out for that. It should be good. And yeah, thank you.